Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Cute Tattooed Girl PhD. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. I promised you guys 2 videos a week, and here is the second video. So in the last video, I talked to you about some of the services that the neurodivergent population is receiving, and I told you I was going to give you a short tidbit of my experiences with ABA. I started ABA with my autistic daughters back in about 2013 when they were like finally diagnosed, and I had a diagnosis for both of my girls. My daughter, my oldest, got ABA first, and then my youngest got ABA soon after, maybe like 2015. So my experiences are not typical of everybody else's, and everybody else has an opinion of their ABA services as they please. But this is my story. This happens with one company particularly, and I'm going to call you out because I have video proof of what I'm going to say. This is not an intent to defraud anybody or anything like that. This is the intent to educate other parents about what companies do and what professionals can do to your children. And note that, like I said, I have video proof of what happened with my daughter. I started off with the company in New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they were great. I ended up moving back to California because that's where I'm from. And we tried a couple of companies out. We ended up with Autism Learning Partners. Yeah, that's you. That's who I'm calling out. So, Autism Learning Partners, and I'll repeat their name a couple of times, were good. I got a lovely therapist at the beginning when I was living in a different place. And I was very happy at the beginning. I was with them for a little bit over 3 years. I was really happy until I got one therapist, one therapist that ruined my perception of ABA and what it's supposed to do. There was a couple of loonies out there. I'm not going to be honest. A couple of therapists that were very interesting, very different. I had a witch in here at one point in time, claimed that she was a witch. From that company. One time I had a girl that would hit my children, and I was unaware of her hitting my children. After talking to the manager and supervisor, she said that that's called restraining. I didn't know my kids were going to needed to be restrained. I don't do that to my children. And so I ended up firing her. She gave me a lengthy apologetic letter, but I didn't want her in my home. So she ended up leaving. She was from New Jersey. But this, I guess, tipped the glass. One of their people, one of their therapists came into my home. I had a lot of trust in this person because she was the daughter of a police officer for the county that I live in. And who else could you not trust but the daughter of a cop, right? Well, one day I was sitting down, I was working on my PhD, and I remember my daughter being very secluded, and I didn't understand what was going on. And so David goes into the cameras because he wanted to see, because we really don't look at our cameras. Mind you, my house is full of cameras due to safety concerns and issues. And my whole entire house has cameras in rooms, in every room, in every corner, because we need to see if there's any like issues with safety, especially opening windows. We live in a 2-story house, so it's important that we keep safety, right? As a priority for my children that are neurodivergent and for my neurotypical because they're little. So one day, David decides to look at the cameras. And to our surprise, we'll name her BB, is what we'll name the therapist. David goes into my room, into my study, and he says, Emily, you need to look at this video. And I'm like, no, like I'm doing my assignment. I don't have time to look at videos. I don't care what the neighbors are doing. And I was so distraught with school and so stressed out that I didn't want to look at what the neighbors were doing. He goes, no. And he slammed my computer down. It was my laptop. And he said, I said, you need to look at this video. And I've never seen David to that amount of anger and frustration, and his eyes were watery. So I was like, oh my gosh, what's in the video? So I open the video, and what you see is some of the most disgusting things that a human being can do to a child that is disabled. Now, there's some sexual things in here that might upset some viewers, so just be careful what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. I'm going to word it to the best of my ability. At this time, it was 2020. It was the height of the pandemic. And this is educational purposes only, you guys. This is for educational, for you guys to be careful with these ABA therapists when they have their kids in their rooms by themselves. Okay? My daughter always learned to lock her room because she wanted privacy. And I was okay with that. Teenagers want privacy. She was with her therapist. She's a professional. She's a daughter of a cop. I could not have more trust. And that trust cost me more than you would imagine. So this is the height of the pandemic. All people coming into my home were supposed to wear gloves and were supposed to wear masks. And if they were sick, not to come into my home. Well, I saw the video. The mask that this woman was wearing was not on her face after she had contracted COVID about 2 weeks after she came into my home. So I asked her to put the mask on. Which when she would come in is had the mask on when she would come in, but when she went to go see my daughter, closing the door and putting her back behind the door to the door so I can open it, she would put the mask on immediately. Well, in the video, it shows this woman sitting on her mask. So she takes off the mask and she sat on it, like with her like Nike shorts. I don't know if you know what Nike shorts are. Not the tight Nike shorts, but those ones that are like for tennis, like those real flimsy ones, you know? She had the mask inside of her shorts and then pulls the mask from her front part upwards and then puts it on my daughter's counter. So what does my daughter do? She goes for the mask and puts it on. So she could have been on her period. She could have an STD. She could have spit on that mask. You tell me, and your imagination can run wild if it must. But she kept it on her face for the entire session. And I was looking at this video in horror. Because not just even COVID, but STDs, her period. I don't know what was on that mask. And my daughter was with the mask on her face, in her mouth. And what do I see? Her laughing and recording her. Laughing and recording her on social media, because I can tell on her phone she was not doing notes as they said that she was doing notes where pictures are at. It looked like Instagram to me. And I have the proof. I went for the proof because I needed to keep the proof, and I have the proof, and I still have the proof. And then one day, maybe in a couple of days, I will show that proof on part 2 of this video. After she does that, after she doesn't take away the mask, instead laughs at her, mocks her, because she's wearing this mask with her disgusting fluids, right? This BB girl. She goes ahead and sits on the floor, like Indian style, starts scratching herself in front of my daughter, and then smells herself. Showing my daughter how to do that. My daughter did that for like a year right after that. It was learning behavior. So she would scratch her buttocks and her private area and then smell herself. You think it's atrocious and it's disgusting, but I seen the videos. Then she tells my daughter in the video to lay on the bed, and that's when the video cuts off, because my video re-records itself after a certain amount of time. And I only seen Savannah get on their bed and it looked like Savannah was trying to open her buttocks. I didn't quite understand the gesture, to be honest, and I'm being honest about that. But she like lays on the bed and kind of opens her butt cheeks. And I'm floored by it and disgusted at this point, so I'm crying. David's crying. So the next day, this was 2 a.m, so I couldn't call nobody. The next day I called the police department. I called CPS. I called the company for this woman is employed through. I did everything humanly possible in my brain cells. I did everything. And they did nothing. Let me tell you why. Because Savannah can't talk. Because it wasn't an actual assault. Because I couldn't prove that my daughter was penetrated. I thought if you spit on somebody's face, according to the law, I'm a criminology major. You guys should know I am a criminology major as well. I have a degree in it. If you spit on somebody's face, it's an assault. But my daughter can wear somebody else's mask that had been in your fluids, in your private part fluids, and that's not called assault. Then what is it called? I was angry. I took therapy for years. And I'm coming open to you guys as a human being. As to tell parents, I did everything I could for my daughter. So eventually we ended up in therapy, and I've tried to help her. It's been a rough 2 years with her. She became really withdrawn, very angry. She stopped going to use the restroom because she just stopped. She doesn't let anybody, like, she wears a diaper. My daughter still wears diapers, and she won't let anybody in the room when she's going to change her diaper out. She won't let nobody can help her. Not my assistant, not my nanny, nobody. She tries to do it on her own. It's really hard for her at times, but she doesn't want nobody to touch her. When she takes a shower, somebody has to supervise, and she just like closes the thing. She just closes out. It angers me, you guys, and it hurts my heart. But it's time we get educated on our children and what people can do to our children because they cannot talk. It made my life completely in turmoil. And this woman made my life completely devastated. She devastated my family. Not only me, but my children's dad, or my child's father, my other kids. It destroyed us as a family. And I talk about it, and it still to this day angers me that I couldn't do anything about it because I wasn't educated. But listen, I called CVRC. I called CPS. I called the police department. I made a civil suit, but she didn't have any money. What would I sue her for? And it wasn't about the money. It was about my daughter needs therapy and somebody needs to pay for it, but they did nothing. Autism Learning Partners stayed quiet and automatically withdrew everybody from my house because they knew the wrongdoing they did. They came into my house. They looked at the videos. They saw it. They took responsibility. Autism Learning Partners did. That they did something wrong. But you know what they did? They brought in new people. And I was so afraid of what they were doing. I said, no doors will be closed. I want an open door policy. I want everybody wearing masks downstairs. A week later, the same people are taking off the masks. And my daughter had the same masks on her mouth. It didn't change anything, so I ended up firing the company. And we split ways. The moral of the story is, you guys, nobody was able to help my child because she couldn't talk and tell people what happened to her. She was so scared of the police that she couldn't speak. And I can't speak for her, they said. She has to say it. Therapist after therapist after therapist. I think it was like 10 therapists that tried to help her, and they couldn't. So I'm angry, upset, beside myself that I was downstairs cooking while all these things were happening in my home. And this is in my home. So this video for me is emotional. It's heartbreaking and it hurts me. That is why I have very limited trust in ABA coming into your home or anybody coming into your home. And even more fear of us who send our kids off to these places that we don't know what they're doing to our children. So the moral of the story for today is be vigilant. Don't take their word for whatever. If you feel something strange is going on, go with instinct. And follow up on the company's reviews. I made that mistake of not following on the company's reviews. I was disgusted with their reviews after. They have a lot of complaints, 4,000 plus complaints of hitting their kids, of touching their kids inappropriately. These are therapists doing it. So my video today is not to upset anybody. My video today is to inform you. Don't let anybody tell you that you're wrong about something because you're not. Something happened in my house and I didn't know how to go about it the legal way because I wasn't educated enough. But now I know how to be educated, how to research, how to speak up and advocate for my child. My child's still struggling today. She's better. But I'm still struggling with the anger. The daughter of a cop coming into a home abusing little kids. How many more kids does she abuse? Autism Learning Partners. And I hope one day, they see this video and know that I'm coming out as a woman that's upset, angry, disgusted by your actions, and you did nothing to help my daughter. So please help your children. Help your children. Pay attention. Look at the cues. And even if they're nonverbal, pay attention to their actions. It's important. One day I hope to get my daughter better. And I'm going to do everything in my power to do so. So, to all those people that are suffering and struggling, I send you my love. I send you my love and I send you my support. Sending always positive vibes. Praying for those who are going through this like I did. Praying always. I'll see you in the next vlog, you guys, for part 2. Because there's more to this story than meets the eye. Bye, guys.